Fist King, was a title given to the man who subjugated the Jianghu with his bare fists alone. He is a man who is called by this title more than his own name, Fist King Dan Woo-sung. This is the story Dan Woo-sung knows as the Fist King. McDan Woo-sung is fighting a group of heretic. He has been ambushed and heavily wounded, though he kills most of them without any mortal injury. However, 2 heretics still remains. It seems they are the leader of this mysterious group. From their look, Dan Woo-sung can say that they are pretty skilled, but he don't know which faction they belong to. Dan Woo-sung makes the first move. He throws a man at them. The man is still alive. He begged to save him. However, the swordsman cuts him without a bit of hesitation. Seeing this, Dan Woo-sung also gets shocked. How brutal a person can be. The swordsman smiles as he looks at Dan Woo-sung. There is a symbol on the sword. Dan Woo-sung seems to recognize it. He glares and asks if they are from the demonic faction. The swordsman gets down and praises Dan Woo-sung for holding so long. He also says that the title Fist King fits him right. Dan Woo-sung is furious. He tells him that he will kill him in 10 moves. The swordsman swings his sword and moves forward. Dan Woo-sung also uses his lighting technique and rushes to attack. He moves like lighting and lands the first blow directly at the stomach. The swordsman vomits blood. Seeing this, Dan Woo-sung continues his attack and deals 9 blows. However, he feels strange. All his attacks missing the weakest spots. It feels like someone is restraining his moves. Dan Woo-sung looks up and sees that other man is using strings to divert his moves. As he focuses on the man on the cliff, the swordsman stabs Dan Woo-sung in the chest. Dan Woo-sung vomits blood. The swordsman looks at him and tells Dan Woo-sung that his reign as the Fist King comes to an end. Dan Woo-sung gets mad and musters all of his strength and launches a final devastating blow. The area shattered, but unfortunately, the swordsman is unharmed. In the last moment, the man on the cliff shifted the direction of the punch and saved the swordsman. The swordsman looks at the destroyed territory and says, "You sure are good at fighting, Fist King." The string man gets down and tells the swordsman that it would have been dangerous. The swordsman then pokes Dan Woo-sung's head and says, "You should die now." Dan Woo-sung gives him a punch in the chin and says, "That's the 10th one." After that, his vision starts to get blurry. His strength is leaving his body. Dan Woo-sung realizes that his life as the Fist King has come to an end. Dan Woo-sung closes his eye with a wish to hit the demonic faction bastard once more. This is how the Fist King Dan Woo-sung has died at the hands of demonic faction. The scene shifts, and we can see a lighting flash at the Juhua Mountain Safe House. In the manor, a boy slowly opens his eyes. This is Dan Woo-sung, who has reincarnated. As he wakes up, he sees a lady and wonders where is he. Dan Woo-sung looks at the surrounding and thinks someone has treated him. He sits up with a huge headache. As he looks at the injuries, he finds none. The lady calls him first young master and offers him a glass of water. While drink, Dan Woo-sung wonders why this lady is calling him young master. He looks at a mirror and sees his face. He gets shocked and spits out the water. Dan Woo-sung thinks this is a mask, so he tries to remove it. However, he sees no lining where the mask ends. Seeing this strange behavior, the lady gets out to call a physician. Dan Woo-sung also gets that this is not a mask. He takes the mirror and observes his face carefully. He wants to know the identity of this face. Dan Woo-sung sees a book the table. He gets up and takes it, but he can't walk properly. He is like a fawn. Struggling for a while, he sits down on the table and looks at the book. The book has a label named Yunha Merchant Group. Dan Woo-sung has heard of this merchant group. It's a large merchant group situated near Junia Mountain. They are a pretty large merchant group, since Dan Woo-sung has also heard of them despite him having nothing to do with merchant groups. He looks into the book and gets that this body's owner is the eldest son of Yunha Merchant Group named Lee Jinon, and all his letters are addressed to him are about money, gambling, and women. Seeing this, he gets that this body is a total loser. At first, though this is magic. However, he sensed no foreign energy in this body. So he comes to a conclusion that he has reincarnated. At that time, an old man rushed into his room. Looking worried, he approached Jinon and asked if he is okay. This old man is Gongsun Myung Lee Jinion's physician. The old man starts to check his pulse, but Jinon removes his hand and tells the old man that he is fine. Hearing this, the old man he is glad and tells the maids to bring the meal young master usually have. The meal is chicken soup. Dan Woo-sung looks at the bowl and gets that this chicken soup dish called the Dragon and Phoenix soup might be great for those who are healthy, but this is equivalent to poison for someone as sick as Lee Jinon. Dan Woo-sung feels some strangeness in the old man's behavior before he tried to take Jinion's pulse stealthily. Dan Woo-sung is sure he thought it was weird that Lee Jinon was looking healthy. He thinks that this old man is like a snake. Seeing Lee Jinon refuse to eat, the old man says, "If you eat it regularly, you'll become as healthy as the youths that attend the Dragon Phoenix martial competition." Dan Woo-sung then asked the old man, "How many years has the Dragon Phoenix martial competition gone on for now?" The old man replies, he is not completely sure, but he believes it's around 200 years. Dan Woo-sung then tells the old man to leave the soup and take his leave. He pushed the old man out and closed the door. From the time he gets that it hasn't been long since he died. This is good for him, as the demonic faction bastards will also be alive, and he can take his revenge. And he also has to beat some sense to the snake, like physician of his. Dan Woo-sung is determined that he is going to kill the bastards in one punch this time. It's been few days Dan Woo-sung has reincarnated into the body of Lee Jinon. He has changed his diet plan and starts to eat lots of protein-type food. The maids are shocked to see this sudden change. Dan Woo-sung also starts to train this body of Lee Jinon. His techniques seems to show its effects. The maid also starts to notice that Jinion's body is much better than before. As Jinon is eating his breakfast, the physician Gongsun Myung comes with a frown face. Jinon notices this, but in front of him the old man smiles and acts to stay joyful. Jinon gets this act, and he also tries to catch this snake. He asked Gongsun Myung what he wants. The old man starts to act and says that he hasn't heard about Jinon for a while, so he has come to see if he is fine. Jinon takes a sip and asks the old man if he is trying to seduce him with Dragon Phoenix soup. Gongsun Myung gets a shock and tells Jinon that the soup is a nourishing tonic. Jinon tells the old man that he thought it was a poison. Gongsun Myung acts shocked and says he is his personal physician, why he would bring poison to him. The old man gets that it's dangerous to stay here, so he tries to leave. Jinon stops him and gives a dead glare and says, "Physician Gongsun Myung, you came without being called for, and now you say you'll leave without being told to." This words intimated the old man. Jinon then lightens the mood, saying that he was joking. He asked the old man to write a letter for him. The old man brings a pen and a paper and starts to write what Jinon dictates. Jinon says, "Due to Sir Lee Jinion's severe illness, I must remain in the villa for some time, since this life of mine is so stubbornly long. Please advise on what I should do next." Hearing this, the old man froze. Jinon asked, why is he not writing? The old man laughs and asked, what is he talking about? Jinon throws a chopstick with a bit of force that it pierced the wall. There is also a little cut on the old man's neck. Jinon glares and says, "Hey, old man, I'm not the Lee Jinon of the past anymore." The old man says sorry and asked what he means. Jinon says, "First of all, Dragon Phoenix soup. To healthy people, it may be a tonic. But to someone as ill as me, it's as good as poison. You, a physician, must know that." Jinon asked, did he really think he wouldn't notice him checking his pulse secretly when he didn't die? And most importantly, the old man couldn't even hide his intentions to kill him. Jinon gets that he is not acting alone, so he orders the old man to write down the name of the one who gave him orders in that letter. Getting caught, the old man removes his facade and says, "Even a scoundrel like you has a conscience." As there is no getting away from this, the old man decides to kill Jinon and everyone in this mansion. He takes out a hidden weapon, and as he is about to attack, Jinon strikes first and knocks him out. Dan Woo-sung thinks that this body is pitiful as a single strike make his hands swollen. He decides to recover his strength quickly, so that he can get to the mastermind behind Gong soon. At that time, Jinon gets a server headache. Memories of Jinon starts flooding his mind. Seeing the memorized Jinon starts to cry. Lee Jinon, the first son of the wealthy Yuna merchant group, was neither as smart as his second brother nor as strong as his third brother. He was just a lacking eldest son. He tried to compensate for his shortcomings with money, but ended up indulging in a depraved life of pleasure. By the time he realized his mistakes and turned back, it was already too late. Having neglected his health, he was sent to this villa. From this memorize of Jinon, Dan Woo-sung gets that the main clan wouldn't care about this place of exile. For Dan Woo-sung, the first problem was being reincarnated without this body's memories. But now, he can finally focus on martial arts. Dan Woo-sung finds that this body is innately gifted. With his past life's knowledge and a few rare elixirs, he could reach a high level in no time. Jinon then turns around and sees a pile of gold coins. With this money, he can get whatever he wants. And the good news is, Gong Sun Ma-young is dead. 1 year later, the maids are cleaning the loan. At that time, Yunha Merchant Group's guard squad, Mok In-seop, comes and says that he has a letter for young master Lee Jinon. The maid shows him that way where the young master is. Mok In-seop goes there and sees Jinon is mediating. He gets shocked to see the physique of Lee Jinon. A few seasons have gone by. In that time, Jinion's energy core manifested, and he engraved all the martial arts required for survival onto this body. To name them, the enlightened mobility art, the enlightened body art, the rapid stride, and an art that allows Jinon to control lightning, the white lightning 10-phase art. So far, he has reached the 4th phase. Everything has gone smoothly. At that time, Mok In-seop of the guard squad comes and greets the young master. He has brought a letter to him from the main clan. Jinon tells him to give the letter. Mok In-seop can't believe his eyes. The frail-ass Jinon has turned into real martial artist. Both of them then sits and Jinon reads the letter. His father has collapsed and is bedridden now. However, the letter didn't mention about the illness of his father. He asked this to Mok In-seop. The guard replies that this is because of Aoyang clan. Thier Merchant Group has been paying tributes under the pretext of protection fees, but those payments snowballed and have now become unbearable. Jinon asked In-seop what the Aoyang clan has done to raise the fees. In-seop gets mad and says, "Nothing at all. Those dogs." Even when the little deity sect tried to impose ridiculous trade taxes recently, the Aoyang clan simply said, "We only meet with the main clan of the Yuna Merchant Group if there's a serious issue." And they did nothing at all. In-seop also says that their guard captain couldn't even protest, because this is Aoyang Hu they are talking about. Aoyang Hu. Even Dan Woo-sung has heard of him. He's well known in the Jianghu. He's strong enough for someone like the Fist King to know of him. Jinon tells In-seop that he will deal with him and resolve this problem. In-seop takes this as a joke. After that, In-seop tells Jinon about the second reason the head of the Yuna Merchant Group has collapsed. He says that the head collapsed as he saw the sword fight between the second and third young masters. Jinon asked In-seop if his father had collapsed out of anger. In-seop replies, yes. Jinon gets frustrated and tells In-seop that he may keep the letter. Saying this, he gets up and tells that he will go there himself. After that, Inseop returns to his squad and tells everyone about the change of the first young master. As he tells this, everyone starts to laugh and make fun of Jinon. A squad member says, "If that scoundrel is a martial artist, then he is a legendary martial master." While they are making fun of Jinon, their vice leader, Han Yap arrives there, and he seems happy to hear that the first young master has recovered his health. He punishes the squad member and tells them that first young master always had a physique for martial arts. Han Yap asks Inseop when the young master is coming back. Inseop tells him that he don't know for sure. He only knows that the young master is coming alone. At that instance, an member announces the arrival of the young master. This shocked everyone. They are not even willing to greet him. Han Yap moves first and tells everyone to come along with him. Jinon has arrived at the manor gate. He is mesmerized to see the well-decorated estate. Before he enters, he tells his maids to take a leave and visit their home. After that, he enters and starts to walk forward. He gets surprised to see nobody is there to congratulate him. At that instance, the guard squad members arrive and welcomes the young master. They congratulate him for his return. The vice captain Han Yeop introduced himself and says he almost couldn't the first young master. The members seeing this questioned about the vice captain having no pride at all. In the past, the young master used to look down on him, and yet he is treating him so well. The members feel sorry for their vice captain, as they think he will humiliated this time also. However, Jinon shows respect and thanks everyone for this welcoming. This shocked the members. They can't believe the good-for-nothing really greeted them. Inseop tells that the young master has changed. Han Yeop also smiles as he feels happy to see this change. Everyone can feel that the first young master is not the enemy but an ally. As they get in, Han Yeop tells Jinon that he has already informed his coming to the head. At that moment, the best third son of the EUNHA merchant group, Lee Jinon, comes. He comes and tells Jinon a perverted person. Jinon also tried to intimidate Jinon, but he failed. Han Yeop thinks something bad will happen again, as in the past, Jinon used to bully Jinon. Han Yeop steps in and removes Jion's hand from Jinon and politely suggests them to sit and talk while having a drink. Upon getting touched by Han Yeop, Jinon slapped Han Yeop and shouts at him. Jinon looks at Jinon and says that he will also have to teach him a lesson. At that time, Jinon touches Jion's face and slaps him hard. This makes Jinon fall on the floor. This surprised Jinon. Jinon approaches Jinon and grabs his shoulder tightly and squeezes harder. Jinon calls him an insane bastard. Jinon presses more and tells Jinon that he should call him Big Brother. The scene shifts to Lee Hwa-eon, Yunha Merchant Group's second son, also known as the Overseer. He notices that everybody is running towards his father's room. "What is all this ruckus?" he asks. The soldier explains that there was an argument between the first and third young masters. After hearing it, he is certain that the third son must have harassed the first son again somehow. He barges in quickly in order to save his older brother, but the scene he sees before his eyes is the complete opposite of what he imagined. This time, the first son is teaching some manners to their youngest brother. He gets completely baffled. After some time, all three brothers are having a conversation. Lee Hwa-eon sees that Lee Jinon is in good health, but his hands are bandaged, so he asks whether their little brother is responsible for that. Without answering the question first, Lee Jinon keeps on beating Lee Jinon, reminding him that he shouldn't wield a sword against his older brother if he doesn't want a beating. Meanwhile, the youngest is remembering his good old days, when his older brother used to be weak, and he can make him do whatever he wanted. Lee Hwa-eon asks the eldest whether something happened at the safe house because he seemed like a completely different person. Lee Jinon praises the second for his good eyes. Then he notices some scrolls. He asks, "What's this?" Lee Hwa-eon says it's the list of employees he needs to take to the conference tomorrow. Jinon then searches for the name of the person who recommended his personal physician. He sees that the person who recommended all these people, from the vice guard squad leader to the front gate, guards is Yang-hu. He smirks because he has already expected it. "If any of you are working with the Aoyang clan, tell me right now," Jin speaks in a cold voice. Both of his brothers earnestly refuse, and the youngest shouts that he would rather die than see some other clan member take over their business. He also says that the Yona Merchant Group is a precious business that father worked hard to grow, mentioning Jin as Sir. Jin says that he is glad. He thinks that he won't need to kill them then. "Are all the higher-ups going to be attending the conference tomorrow?" he asks. After hearing the answer yes, from the second, he immediately leaves the room to meet his father while saying that he will be attending the conference too. After his departure, Hua Ian asks what happened at the safe house. The youngest shouts, saying that he should have gone to the safe house at Juhua Mountain instead of his brother. Then we see Lee Seong-min, the Yunhei Merchant Group's leader, lying in the bed. Jinon, he heard that his father is not doing well because of stress. Seong-min that he has always been under stress, but now his old body can't really handle it anymore. He touches Jin's face with care while saying that he has changed a lot, and his face also looks different too. Nevertheless, he is glad to see that his child is doing well. The Fist King grew up without parents, so he doesn't know what having a father is like, but in Lee Jinion's memories, his father was a really great and big person. When did such a person get this small, he wonders. Jinion tells his father not to worry because he has found a cure for his stress. He says that they just need to eliminate the cause of his stress. He reassures his father, saying that he will handle it so he doesn't need to worry. "Why is my son smiling like that?" Seong-min wonders. The next day, at the conference of Yunha Merchant Group, Yang-hu, the Yuna Merchant Group's guard squad leader, and his squad sees the eldest son is attending the conference this time. "What is he doing here?" one of them asks. Ouyang says that maybe Jinion is worried about his position in the group. Amidst the conference, Ouyang raises his hand to share his opinion. He says that he heard that the first young master still doesn't have a guard despite coming back. He says that he has someone he can recommend. Goodness. Half of the Yuna Merchant Group already consists of people from the Aoyang clan. "Doesn't he know when to stop?" one of 10 higher-ups whispers. Ouyang simply interrupts their conversation, breaking the glass, saying that his hands slipped. He then asks, "Is there anyone who has something to say in regards to his suggestion?" Jin raises his hand, saying that he has complaints. He stands up and walks near the squad leader, saying that he would like to make a suggestion too. A suggestion to fire the guard squad leader, Yang-hu. Everyone in the conference starts to laugh. Meanwhile, Aoyang gets angry. He tells Jinion that he must have forgotten because he has been bedridden for so long. But firing someone, that's not something he has say over. Without lingering, Jinion showcases his strength by breaking the table with his bare fists and even cracked the ground, intimidating everyone. Lee Jinon speaks with confidence. "Squad leader Ouyang, you must have forgotten because you've gained some influence, but the Yuna Merchant Group belongs to me." Previously, the brothers had a conversation regarding this General Assembly. Lee Jinon says that he is attending the assembly in order to dismiss Guard Captain Ouyang. Huayan says that, honestly, they are just a merchant group. The Ouyang clan are out of their league to mess with. In reply to that, Jin asked his younger brother whether he knows what happens when a martial artist of the Jianggu is underestimated. He explains that the one making such an assumption gets devoured, telling him to look at the current state of the Yuna Merchant Group. "Don't you think it's being devoured right now?" Jin asked. Huayan sees that it's the fact, and he didn't even notice it until now, that they are getting surrounded by Ouyang clan members day by day. At that moment, Jin speaks that he, as the older brother, will handle this. At present, Huayan is seeing the situation being handled, but he didn't expected this approach. The Ouyang clan members draw their sword against Jin, and it angers the guards of the Yuna merchant group. So, they stand before Jinon in order to protect him. Well, this time, Lee Jinon shows his true colors. He gets enraged, saying that it was truly insolent seeing the guards drawing their swords against their employer. He says that maybe the guards have a death wish, but since he is firing their captain, which he truly feels bad about, so he will mislook their behavior as a compensation for ruining their retirement plans. He starts to reveal some truths regarding the captain. Jin says the captain had physician Gongsun Mayung assassinate him when he left to recuperate and instigated a clash between his second and third brothers. When there's bad blood between siblings, everything becomes much easier. Thanks to that, their father collapsed. Jin tells Ouyang that if he had just swayed one of the sons, he could have taken over the Yunhei merchant group without lifting a finger. The captain tries to laugh it by saying that it's pure delusion, but then Jin reveals another part of the story. He says that the very Gongsun Mayung, who should have killed him, died by his hand instead, and that's where his fate started changing. Gongsun Mayung died by your hands? Ouyang asks. Jin tells him not to be sad because he sent the physician off in a single strike. Moreover, he tells the captain that if he wanted to devour a major merchant group, he should have worked harder. Then he says that he should also file claims for the damages caused. Immediately after getting caught, the captain tries to sneak attack, condensing his mana in his fists. But to his surprise, Jin counters it with lightning energy. All of them bear witness that their young master knows and has learned martial arts. Is it even okay for you to strike me, who just finished recuperating? Jin asked. Then he replies saying that maybe it'll be all right since this is an official duel. Ouyang feels enraged. He announces telling the guard, squad, and Ouyang clan witnesses to bear testimony. With young master Jinion's consent, they shall proceed with an official duel. Is that good enough? Ouyang asks. Jin replies while correcting him that it will be a life-or-death duel. The captain says that it seems young master Jinion has studied under an impressive sect, since in such a short time his level of skill has become quite decent. However, Ouyang says while attacking that Jin falls short in terms of experience, and he will make sure Jin knows the difference between their experience. Jin easily dodges the attack with a never-changing countenance, as if he is bored playing with kids. Jin says that Ouyang is 100 years too yearly to be talking about experience. He condenses his lighting energy in his fist and launches a straight attack, which makes an impressive, impactful damage. His opponent can feel its strength right at his stomach. Now, the look in Jin's eyes is telling that he is about to get serious. He tells the captain that he will show him what true difference in experience looks like. Thus, he uses enlightened mobility art and quickly covers the distance between him and the enemy. He starts attacking violently without giving any time to think. Ouyang is feeling that something isn't right. This doesn't feel like someone who just learned martial arts. It feels like he is facing a seasoned martial master. The guard captain reveals his three-form sword art, which can be said his finishing move, but Jin, on the other hand, uses rapid stride in order to close the distance and finishing his opponent while breaking the cliff. Miles away, his father bear witness that his son appears to have learned martial arts. After the defeat of Ouyang, the guards come running to take care of their captain. All of them are angry, and one of them says that young Master Jinion's duel had no irregularities. He testified to that. However, from now on, if the Ouyang clan continues to demand revenge through duels, the Yunhei merchant group will have no way to avoid those. Lee Jinon, on behalf of the group, says that it's fine. He never hoped to be free from grudges anyway. If there is kindness shown, he will repay it. If there is a grudge, he will also pay it back. If anyone takes issue with that, the responsibility will be mine alone, not the Yunhei merchant groups. Huayan refuses, saying that it's too dangerous. Lee Jinon, the oldest son, speaks while everyone listens in silence. He reminds them that he said, The Yunhei Merchant Group is his. It is also his father's. It belongs to the guard squad who welcomed back a discarded young master early in the morning, and it belongs to the stable hands who feel joy just watching him eat. So their Yunhei Merchant Group has no intention of being toyed with by outsiders like them. Then he fires all of them. This speech of his warms the heart of the members in his group, while it angers the members of the Ouyang clan. One of the guards starts to celebrate, but the others stop him by saying that they shouldn't celebrate yet. They should be ashamed as the guard squad for standing by and watching. Jin calls Huaiyan chief administrator and tells him to buy an elixir. I said I'd take responsibility, so I should at least get that much support, right? Jin questions sarcastically, trying to make the situation lighter after such an intense battle. The chief administrator says that since it's for his brother, he will prepare the best quality tonic because buying elixir and hiring new guards. Jin will be busy from now. About the guard squad, Jin says that he already has someone in mind. A few days ago, on the first day of Lee Jinon's entry into the Yuna Merchant Group, he was having a scroll with the vice captain. He asked the captain whether he had lunch. The captain replies with a no because he has been working since dawn. He got angry, thinking that some people don't even have time to eat because of work, while others are slacking off during working hours. They must have it easy. They're living off of others' money, after all. He thinks that they really should root them all out, referring to the members of the Ouyang clan. While thinking about it, a problem arises. Jin realized that he needs people to fill in their gaps when they are gone, so he went to a place where he usually goes to bet. Upon his entry, everyone thought that the young master has come to waste his money again. The guard also taunts him, asking, "Are you here to make another generous donation again?" Jin ignores the guard and enters the room to see Poisonous Fox Chul Myungho, along with his personal guards Yuk Jinbo and Yuk Myungbo. They also welcome Jin Eon. Their boss, Chul Myungho, calls them heartless because they didn't greeted his friend who recovered recently properly. He tells them that they should at least ask, how is Jin Eon doing these days? Lee, Jin Eon, and Chul Myungho have been friends since childhood. Even if that friendship included one-sided violence and financial exploitation. The Fist King thinks that it looks like the current definition of the word friend is a bit different among young people. You're back after a long time, have some fun. You must be itching for action after all that time you spent recuperating? Aren't you? Chul Myungho asks. Actually, he was the one itching, since he had no pushover to suck money from. Additionally, he says that to celebrate the return of the Yuna Merchant Group's young master, Jin Eon, he will treat him to something big. He tells Jin that he is getting angry because Jin has been quiet for a long time. Then, Jin speaks just 3 words that he is thinking. He is thinking whether he should kill Myungho or not. Well, on second thought, what he needs isn't Chul Myungho. Those twin brothers are the only ones doing all his chores. According to Jin, they probably live as thugs under him, and they're too valuable to rot under Chul Myungho. After thinking through about this, he says that he has decided. First, he tells Myungho to hand over the vault key. Myungho gets confused as the only reason for asking the vault key is for money. Jin makes it clear that for now, cash will suffice. He starts calculating. First, there are the thousands of Nayang he was forced to invest in this gambling den, the interest, the extorted money, and his medical bills from getting beaten up by Myungho. All of this included, he thinks about 100,000 yang should be fair. After hearing this, Myungho couldn't control his laughter. He stands up as he says that the vault not only has 100,000 yang, it also contains jewelry, gold, and silver. But there's nothing in there for Jin. He says that if Jin needs money, he should just ask, and Myungho will lend it to him. What's with sudden ask for the vault key? And why have you been ignoring me this whole time? Myungho asks. He orders the twin brothers to pin Jin down and give him a straight beating. Without further delay, the action starts, with one of the brothers gripping Jin. But mere moments later, they find out that Jin's wrist gripping is actually stronger as he lifts his opponent and throws him towards the door. Another one starts to attack, but Jin, the ex-Fist King, having more experience, he easily breaks the bone of his enemy's ankle. In the next moment, it's surprising to see that both of them, after getting beat severely, are still able to stand up. Jin notices that both of them had their wrists and ankles shattered, yet there's not a hint of fear in their eyes. They're undoubtedly the real deal. Now that, he has checked both of them. He stops playing around. He says while making them unconscious that just as he expected, these two are too valuable to just let them rot away. Jin starts to smirk because all that's left now is his dear friend Myung-ho.